This is without a doubt one of the most improbable stories in the history of the art world. Leonardo da Vinci left behind a legacy of masterpieces, from the iconic Mona Lisa to the Last Supper. But not all of his works survived the passage of time. Some were lost forever, including one painting that had seemingly vanished for centuries, the Salvator Mundi. In 2005, a painting surfaced at an auction, thought to be just a copy of the long-lost Salvator Mundi. An art collector buys it and sends it for restoration. But as the conservator strips away the varnish, she makes a shocking discovery. This isn't just a copy of the Salvator Mundi. This is the Salvator Mundi, painted by Leonardo da Vinci himself. What happens next sends shockwaves through the art world, sparking scandal, conspiracy, controversy, and political drama. Is this painting truly the lost Leonardo? Or is there more to the story than meets the eye?
Leonardo da Vinci, visionary, scientist, and Renaissance icon. His paintings are amongst the rarest treasures in art history. So rare, in fact, that only 17 of his works are widely known today, and scholars agree about 12 can be fully confirmed as his actual work. Yet, even in that small number, his works are steeped in mystery. One such mystery revolves around a painting called the Salvator Mundi, a portrait of Christ believed by some to be by Leonardo's hands, and by others to be nothing more than a well-executed copy. We have clues from the 16th century biographer Giorgio Vasari, who described a remarkable depiction of Christ by Leonardo, so lifelike it seemingly captured both the human and divine aspects of Jesus. Then in the 17th century, England's King Charles I owned a painting in his royal collection titled Salvator Mundi, Savior of the World, attributed to Leonardo. Many experts suspect that this is the very same painting Vasari praised. But sometime in the 18th century, the piece disappeared from royal records, gone without an explanation. Centuries passed, leaving behind rumors of a lost Leonardo. The respected art historian Ludwig Heinrich insisted that there must have been an original prototype by Leonardo, though some argue he never personally painted the Salvator Mundi at all. In 2005, art dealers Alexander Parrish and Robert Simon wander into a small estate sale in New Orleans. Among the clutter, they spot a painting labeled simply after Leonardo, meaning a later copy inspired by Leonardo's style. The composition, though, catches their attention. Could this be more than it seems? They purchase the painting for a mere $1,175 and bring it to New York, where they show it to Diane Modestini, an esteemed art conservator. Modestini specializes in old masters, a term for Europe's great pre-18th century painters like Raphael, Michelangelo, and, of course, Leonardo da Vinci. At first, Modestini dismissed the painting, a piece not worth her time to restore. In fact, she even proposed that one of her students could restore it. However, after showing it to her husband, the great restorer and art collector Mario Modestini, she changed her mind. In his ill state, his eyes lit up when seeing the painting. "This is the work of a great artist," he said. So Modestini agreed to restore it. As Modestini painstakingly peels away layers of old varnish and overpainting, she noticed a technique akin to the fumato, this delicate smoky blend of tones that Leonardo perfected. The shock is immediate. Could this be the long-lost Salvator Mundi, painted by Leonardo da Vinci himself? The fumato is a telltale sign of Leonardo's unique artistry, achieved by applying ultra-thin layers of paint, translucent veils that give like a lifelike glow. Discovering it here suggests that the painting may not be a simple copy at all. But hold on, just because it's old and shows a fumato doesn't automatically make it a Leonardo. Modestini herself considered if this might be the work of Leonardo's pupils or followers, yet none of them, in her view, had the specific finesse displayed in this piece. Even Boltraffio, a talented pupil, used a distinctly different style. Despite Modestini's conviction, the claim that one of the world's rarest masterworks could appear at an obscure auction in the New Orleans begs for skepticism. And this is where the process of authentication comes in. There are about 6 things that we need to be thinking about when authenticating a painting. Number 1, provenance, tracing a painting's journey through time. Number 2, stylistic analysis, comparing the brushwork, technique, and composition to other verified works of Leonardo. Number 3, scientific testing, looking under the surface with infrared, X-ray fluorescence, and pigment matching. Number 4, Restoration and condition, determining how much of the painting remains original and what's been repainted. Number 5, expert consensus, gathering all the leading scholars of Leonardo to weigh in to determine whether this is an actual, real Leonardo. And number 6, market validation. Ultimately, if big collectors and top museums believe it, the price tag will reflect that, and the confidence around authenticity can somewhat be determined by that too. Provenance can make or break a claim of authenticity. Robert Simon dug through historical records and discovered the letters CC with the number 106 on the panel's cradle. This connected it to the Cook collection, where it was once listed in a 1913 catalog as a free copy after Boltrafio. The painting had been purchased by Sir Francis Cook from Sir Charles Robinson as the work of Luini, not Leonardo. Then, in 1958, it showed up in a Sotheby's sale of 136 paintings from the Cook collection and sold for just £45 to a buyer named Kuntz. Years later, investigative journalists at the Wall Street Journal found that Kuntz was a couple in New Orleans, Minnie and Warren Kuntz. When they passed, their nephew Basil Henry inherited it. After Henry's death in 2004, the painting landed in a small St. Charles gallery in New Orleans, where it was ultimately bought by Simon and Parrish. During restoration, Modestini noticed a pentimenti, faint traces of changes in the underdrawings, revealing the artist's evolving approach. Copies usually lack these alterations. They mimic a finished image.
There were a lot of changes, pentimenti, of a major sort, which had already been exposed. There was this pentiment of the blessing hand, there was the pentiment of the thumb.
Pentimenti suggests this is an original, even if it was not absolutely certain that it's Leonardo's hand. Still, Modestini believed that none of Leonardo's followers were up to this level. But for many in the art world, skepticism lingered. Modestini, Parrish, and Simon all had stakes in proving it was Leonardo. Could their enthusiasm be clouding their judgment? By 2008, the painting had undergone years of careful restoration. Determined to confirm its authorship, Simon, Parrish, and Modestini presented it to Luc Sisson, then curator at the London's National Gallery. Sisson sees enough promise to convene a panel of heavyweight Leonardo scholars, including Martin Kemp, Carmen Bambach, and many more. While not every expert agreed wholeheartedly, there was sufficient consensus to label it as a bona fide Leonardo. The painting then starred in 2011 National Gallery exhibition Leonardo da Vinci, Painter at the Court of Milan, as an autographed work of Leonardo, meaning recognized as painted by Leonardo himself. Naturally, controversy erupted. After the show closed in 2012, efforts to sell it resumed. The Dallas Museum of Art nearly purchased it, but couldn't raise the funds. By 2013, the so-called lost Leonardo still hadn't found a buyer, stirring whispers that perhaps it wasn't as authentic as it was made out to be. In the high-stakes art world, unsold masterpieces attract doubt, but they can also attract opportunists. Freeports, massive secured warehouses in tax-free zones that are often used to store and trade priceless arts away from the prying eyes. The Salvator Mundi soon found itself in this shadowy realm. In April 2013, Sotheby's facilitated a private sale. Then in 2016, a New York piece revealed that the buyer was the Russian oligarch Dmitry Robolovlev, transaction orchestrated by Swiss art dealer Yves Beauvoir, who owned numerous freeports. But here's the twist. Beauvoir allegedly bought the painting from Parrish and Simon's dealer, Warren Adelson, for $80 million, but resold it to Robolovlev for $127.5 million, pocketing $47.5 million in profit. But when Dmitry discovered he had systematically been overcharged on multiple art deals, he confronted Beauvoir. Just as he started facing his own issues with Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin's scrutiny of his massive wealth. Under pressure, Dmitry told Beauvoir, "Sell all of my artworks in under 8 months, including the now controversial Salvator Mundi." So Beauvoir approached Christie's. By 2017, Christie's launched one of the most extraordinary marketing campaigns the world of art has ever seen.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the Leonardo da Vinci, the Salvator Mundi, the masterpiece by Leonardo of Christ the Saviour, previous in the collections of 3 kings of England.
They dubbed the painting the male Mona Lisa, and the only Leonardo in private hands, touring it through Hong Kong, London, San Francisco, and New York. Over 27,000 people lined up to see this painting. On November 15th, 2017, the auction room crackled with anticipation. A mysterious newcomer placed a last-minute bid, wiring $100 million to Christie's as a proof of funds.
110. I have it at 110 million. Who'll give me 120? Give me 140. 130 million. 140 million is bid.
The bidding war dragged on for a tense 20 minutes until the hammer fell at $400 million, with fees $450.3 million, the highest an art piece has ever been sold. Initially, the buyer was anonymous. But by December 2017, the New York Times revealed that it was Prince Bandar bin Abdullah bin Farhan Al Saud, acting on behalf of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Soon after, the Louvre Abu Dhabi announced plans to display the Salvator Mundi, but it never appeared. In 2019, the French President Emmanuel Macron personally requested MBS to lend the painting for a blockbuster Leonardo da Vinci exhibition in Paris, marking 500 years since Leonardo's death. Rumor had it that the painting was on MBS's yacht near France, poised for a grand unveiling. But when the opening day arrived, the painting was absent. Reports emerged that a secret Louvre booklet affirming the painting's authenticity based on advanced imaging and historical research was available. Yet, the booklet was never released. Some say Saudi Arabia demanding the painting to be shown opposite the Mona Lisa, or labeled definitively as Leonardo. The Louvre reportedly declined. Without an agreement, the Salvator Mundi stayed hidden. Today, the painting's whereabouts remain unknown. The Saudis have kept silent, leaving the art world to speculate. If it's truly a Leonardo, why keep it hidden? Are there still doubts about its authenticity? Or is it all wrapped up in political maneuvering? The swirling controversy underscores a bigger issue: the intersection of art, money, and power. Once a painting hits $450 million, it transcends simple aesthetics and becomes a political and financial pawn, especially when governments and oligarchs are involved. So, is the Salvator Mundi the last great Leonardo da Vinci masterpiece? Or the most controversial copy in modern history? Could the truth be buried somewhere in a secret Louvre study? Or perhaps locked aboard a Saudi yacht? We may never know if or when the Salvator Mundi will return to public view. Until then, it remains a captivating puzzle of authenticity, ambition, and intrigue. A painting worth a fortune, but cloaked in enough mystery to make even Da Vinci himself proud. If you're captivated by stories of lost masterpieces, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. What are your thoughts? Is it really the lost Leonardo?